Scott Russell, Global Freedom Movement. Just thinking about immigration, you know, the globalists and the global agenda. I think it should always be remembered that these men have been working on this for decades. It's something that that's been pieced together methodically over time. They've worked on world leaders, politicians, rich people, you know, and filled their heads with illusions of grandeur and what can be. And some of those things are probably quite noble. You know, climate change, whether people believe it or not, they come in under the thing of, gee, we've got to protect the earth, and that's a good thing. We do. We need to protect the earth, but then they merge it with other things, and we all know that every lie has often been enshrouded in elements of the truth. It's the only way to make it believable. And the more you want the truth to become a lie and the lie to become a truth, you force feed it into people. But you know, it doesn't matter if one person believes your lie or 100 million people believe your lie. It's still a lie, and the lie is cursed and doomed to fail. A lie always needs to be fed. And as these people live a lie and they put a smearing of good in there, we need this to achieve, you know, a greener earth. I mean, we all love trees, we all love animals. But as they use the things that for their own benefit, they cover the lie with little elements of truth. And one of the things I think about is South America. We've put videos up of, you know, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Ecuador. There's a bunch of them. Probably almost every South American country except for Brazil. Not every. I mean, that's a vast generalisation. There's a lot of them are under massive economic pressure. And I think that's been done on purpose. I think, you know, because a lot of those leaders that are down there are globalists. And remember, a globalist is all for no borders. A globalist is all for, you know, universalism, everything. Let's just, humanism, really. Let's worship mankind as his own God, but we don't want national identity. And who has one of the strongest, the largest national identity, one of the largest, but be careful what you say on these things, right? It's the USA. So if you're going to break that national identity, you get a man in that's, you know, a Biden, and that poor man, I actually feel sorry for him. He has no clue what he's doing. He's reaping the consequences of a lifetime of not serving what's righteous. I don't know his whole life, but he's not displaying himself to be a righteous man. He stood for some very evil things. So they put a man in who's really just knows no clue. He doesn't know what's going on, and if he's cannon fodder. Whoever's pulling the strings behind him, it's the globalists. The WEFs and the globalists play to take over the USA and then ultimately take over the world. And in doing that, they had to open the southern borders of the USA. They have to allow millions of people to come over because it's the only way, one of the only ways, or one of many ways, that they are breaking the national identity of the USA. The patriotism, where the USA loses its identity because millions and millions of illegal immigrants have come in because what they've done in South America to drive those people. And unfortunately, those people are just innocent victims. It's the WEF and the global elites that are manipulating and have manipulated for a long time to drive these people out of their homes because they have no way to eat or survive and get them to go to the USA. You put this big gold nugget of the USA there, starve people and say, come get it. Of course they're going to go. They've got nothing to lose. When people have nothing to lose, they have nothing to lose. And they go, but it's serving the globalist agenda of breaking that, that identity. And Biden's just cannon fodder. He's clueless to what's going on. He doesn't know. He doesn't stand for anything. And he's being humiliated publicly, and they'll just throw him aside, or he'll die or something, and let's just blame Biden. No, it's not Biden. It's the men that's behind Biden. it's the men and the women of the Democratic Party. Same with Pelosi. They're the ones that are hungry enough to have a big mouth and to think that they're in charge. They're not in charge. Their strings are being pulled. They're just hungry for more and more recognition and power. But the WEF, and the global elites are the ones that are pulling the strings to try to take over the US. Immigration, think about it globally. They have allowed, I saw an article today where Macron in France had allowed, I think Libya or somewhere, that had basically provoked some of the unrest and caused a lot of illegal immigrants to go across, or refugees, maybe with better name for them, to go across into Italy. And what are they trying to do? Break the national identity. And isn't it interesting that Macron's doing that, who is a WEF goon? A lot of these others are the same. They're just doing as they're told. They've been promised something and more power, more narcissistic pleasure, and they're going after it. Whatever. I don't know them. I'm not in a room talking with them, but that's what they present to us, I think. And so, tonight I'm talking to someone, they're saying, well, we had elections, apparently Quebec or somewhere had some local elections in Canada and the Freedom candidate didn't get in. And I was just saying, in one sense, if you're looking at the positive of this, it's going to get people to start to wake up and realise that instead of just worrying about taking selfies and putting their parts on, TikTok or whatever, that maybe there's something a little bit more important in the world, and it's the future of you and your children. And people are going to get a wake-up call from this. I do believe we're going to see some good things come, but we're in for a lot more pain. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it. And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm not, I hope you listen. Does that make sense? I hope you listen. Because these global elites pull the strings to the financial systems of the world, and we are going to see, to a certain extent, them swept away as some of these, politics swing the other way. But when they pull those financial strings, we're going to see global economic collapse. And when we do that, they'll be back, and they'll be back in a sinister and evil way. Back with a mark of the beast, back with something that they will try to get people that you have to take to be able to buy or sell that is completely under their control. Just like the Bible says, Antichrist is not, in the place of, it is in the place of Christ, but it's also, when you really read it, it's saying a system that's parallel. So it's a system that's presenting itself as Christ, but it's not Christ. And that's what they're presenting, something that's completely about control and not about freedom. Now, you might be a religion, but religion is anti-Christ when it's not of God. Just because it's using God's name doesn't make it of God. Many religious organisations are no different to the World Economic Forum. Just about controlling people's lives and saying you need to try harder to be better. No, that's not unconditional love. So I think we're going to see that. The Bible talks about, as I've mentioned before, yes, I mentioned Bible. If you get uptight about that, then switch off. But it talks about an antichrist, and when you actually look at that, I have a Greek friend that he's pretty fluent in his Greek, and he's like, it's actually talking about, it says the number of a man is 666, but it's actually saying the number of mankind, and it says basically, if you're smart, figure it out. And this is the first time we've seen mankind moving as one, the globalists as one, and that's what the Bible said. It will be mankind is the mark of the beast, and moving as one. And they are moving in a false unity, a false, acceptance of each other. It's not true. It's based in just greed, lust, and self and perversion, and that is not unity. It's conditional. Whereas the true, righteous, holy God is for unconditional love. He loves you no matter what. Doesn't matter what you've done. Doesn't matter if you haven't been to church. We are the church. We don't go to church. We are church. And we will fellowship with those of the same spirit. And That's what's beautiful. And this freedom movement, we're one spirit, coming together and saying, you know what, we're free. We're free, and freedom will always take you to your Creator. So God bless you, and keep preparing. Keep staying strong, because, the worst is not, we're not through the worst of this yet. And it's wisdom to keep preparing. Stay safe, stay free, and God love us all.